Hi friends, this is Myra with Vial Designs and this is my book journal update. I've been wanting to make this video for like a year now and I'm glad that it's finally here. So it's not perfect, but I decided to go ahead and give you the update of my reading journal. My phrase for the year is that this is the year of following through and finish the things that I started. So this journal is from 2025 and I wanted to finish my book journal. There are still a couple of things that I need to finish, but I wanted to go ahead and finish this video so that I can show it to you, tell you the things that I'm keeping for my next journal, the things that I'm no longer doing, and some of the improvements along the way. And I'm gonna need your help. At the end of the video, I'm gonna show you the two options that I have for my new book journal, and I can't decide because they're both amazing and I need you to help me decide on my next notebook for my book journal. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're starting with the cover page. I really love how this cover page turned out. I really love the bubble lettering, the faux calligraphy, the doodles, and even the tab. The next thing that I have is the goals page. My goal was actually to read 52 books. I ended up reading 81, and that just completely blew my mind because never in a million years I thought that I would read 81 books in a year. I used to read like 1 or 2 books a year. Then in 2024, it went up to like 24. So that's why I was a little bit ambitious and gave myself a goal of 52 because I wanted to read at least 1 book a week, and I ended up with 81. It's wild to me, but one of the things that I liked was that I actually completed all my goals for 2025, and so I really love this goals page. I'm definitely going to do it for my next journal. Now the book journal tracker, I only did 52 squares, and because I didn't think that I was gonna complete it. So now I know for my next journal, even if I have a goal of 52 or maybe like 60, I'm still gonna leave like extra space just in case. But this is another spread that I'm definitely going to keep in my next journal. Here we have the A to Z challenge, and the challenge was basically read a book for every letter of the alphabet. As you can see, there were a couple that I didn't finish, and I think this is really hard because, I mean, if you have books that start with these letters, let me know. Maybe in my next journal I can add it and then hopefully I complete the challenge. But this was fun to do. I'm definitely going to keep it for my next journal, maybe not in this format because I don't like how it looks. I was trying to do like the same color of the cover, and then at the end I just went with whatever color, and so I don't like how this looks, so I'll do it different. But I'll definitely keep this challenge in my next journal. For the book bingo, I really like this spread. The only thing that I will be improving on my next journal is that I'm actually going to have a space and maybe like a little flap so that I can write the actual book that helped me get the bingo, because I just color it once I read it, but now I would love to know the book that was an audiobook and you know, all of that, because I have no idea now. So I'll definitely, and it's just how my brain works, I definitely want to have the name of the book. But also here I did the flapping here and I really like that. Then the next thing was my book series. Now one of the things that I tried with this was a Dodge door. So as you can see here, I cut the pages so that the title could show through the whole thing. I really like this. So in my next journal, I'm definitely going to incorporate. I think the only difference is that I'm not going to print the cover, but I'm going to have a different format where I only write the name of the book that's on the series. So this, and actually, as you see here, some of these books I had already read them, but I still wanted to include them here. This is one of my favorite series of all time, and I really like how this turned out. At some point I had to add more pages in here, so now I know for the future. And then I still have to print these book cover pictures. The next spread is my bookshelf. I really love how this spread turned out before I added the color on the books. So for next year, I'm going to have like an index so that I have the colors that I want to use. Because in here I try to do like a pastel tone of the cover page. I don't love the colors. So I love how this one turned out, but I'm just gonna have like a different index for every time that I read a book and then I color it. And then I have the books read spread. Now this one, again, I didn't know I was going to read so many books. I had to add a page in here. And even with adding a page, I stopped recording after June. I will have to do something different for the books read in here. So I added the title, the author, and when I started, and then where I ended. I will have to do something different for the books read spread. And then I have here the TBR recommendations. Now, one thing that I want to add in here, maybe another column or another space so that I can write down the person that recommended the book. Moving on to the monthly spreads, I started doing a very detailed with the calendar, writing down the books that I was reading. I also started doing very detailed book reviews. I was writing down my favorite quotes and how I consumed the book, either Kindle or audio, and I continue to do that for a couple of months. And then at the end, I have the monthly wrap up where I put the genre, the total books read, total pages, the book of the month, also the ratings and how I consume the book, new authors, longest book, and shortest book. So that is the wrap up for January. Then after that, I discovered a couple of spreads that I wanted to add, which is around the world. So basically, I wanted to write the books that I read around the world, but this was hard to keep up with. So I'm probably not going to be doing this in my next journal. The next spread that I added was my monthly favorites. And I really, really like this spread. Read so many good books in January, February, and March that after that I was just adding 2 books per month, and I still have to print some of the books. As you can see here, September I chose 4 books because it was like an incredible month, and then I didn't read actually in November. December I have 2 books, and then in February I was still doing my book reviews and everything, and now this is my February wrap-up, same as before. And then in March I did the same thing. And I think after March is when it started going a little bit downhill for me, and I didn't have as much time. Did the wrap up, but after this I decided that it was taking me too long to continue doing this calendar page, so I just did a cover page. And for the books I just printed the covers and then with the ratings, and then I added the date that I started and the date that I finished reading the book, and that was about it. For May, I did the same thing, and then I actually forgot about the wrap-up page, so that's why I have April in here and then May in here. Now, as you may notice with this, I actually created a printable. So as you can see, this is a printable where I just color it, and I still have to fill out some of the information in here, but at least I have my monthly wrap up. This printable is available inside my Patreon. I did the same thing for every month. Here I just have to print the cover of the book. I think the printable is so helpful because you just print it, paste it, and then you just color it. One of the reasons why I love having my journals is because it is also a time for me to be creative, doodle, color, and everything. I didn't have time to continue doodling the same thing every month. I was still being creative because I got to color all these things for the monthly wrap up. July I only had 2 books, but I still did the monthly wrap up. I'm still gonna go ahead and finish it. August, the same thing. So one of the things that I decided to add in here was a quote, one of my favorite quotes from the books that I read this month. For September, I still have to print these 2 covers. Now, September I only read 6 books, but out of the 6 books, I think 5 of them were 5 stars for me. That's why it was a great reading month. This is when I started the Voice of Tolman series, and I still think about these books today. September wrap up and the covers page, and then as you can see, I don't know if you noticed, but for the cover page I still did my bubble lettering and then my faux calligraphy, but I kept it easier and simple by just adding 1 sticker to the cover page. And then, like I mentioned before, in November, I didn't really do any reading. December, I read 2 books, 2 exceptional books. And then here is the monthly wrap up for December. Other things worth mentioning is that I added the tabs, and I think these are really helpful for going like back and forward with my journal. Now comes the part where I'm gonna need your help. So back in 2025 when I started, I have this journal. This is from Michael. The thing that I didn't like about this journal is the paper quality, but the thickness of the paper, every time I would color, the bleeding was significant. So most of the pages that you see here, I had to glue them together so the bleeding wouldn't show on the next page. So most of these pages are like double pages. Now, for my next journal, I decided to have better journals, and that is why I'm getting a Archer and Olive journal. These are ultra thick 160 GSM pages. I have several Archer and Olive notebooks, and I know that they're not gonna bleed through with the markers. So now this one is from the Enchanted Charters collection, and let me show you this. These are so gorgeous. That's why I have a hard time deciding which one to use next. So this is option 1. I mean, look at how gorgeous this is, even on the back. This is option 1, and this is option 2. Look at this. I mean, wow. So I have these 2 options for my next reading journal. And then, as if 2 options were not enough, I also have this one in an 8x8. All right, so which one should I pick for my next reading journal? Either this one, which is the Books of Beauty. This is an A5 size, and this one is an 8x8. Or the Dragon Spire. I mean, it's so hard to decide. Now that you see my predicament with these gorgeous notebooks, let me know in the comments which one I should use for my next journal, option 1, 2, and 3. I never used an 8x8 before. I don't know how the 8x8 format will work out for my reading journal, but I just need to decide so that I can start my 2026 reading journal as soon as possible. The last thing that I wanted to share with you is how easy it was to incorporate the printables inside my journal. I just printed it, cut it to size, and pasted it. I love it because I still get to be creative with coloring and filling up everything on my monthly wrap-ups. This has really been a game changer and something that's going to help me keep up with my phrase of the year, which is the year of following through and actually finish the things that I started. So this is making it so much easier. I since updated this printable to match better the monthly wrap-ups that I was doing at the beginning. If you want to make your life easier as well, I'm going to add the link to my Patreon so you can have access to these printables as well. This was a little bit of a different video for me because I'm just doing a flip through and yapping along the way. So I hope that this video was helpful for you to set up your own journal, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.